All right, guys. Welcome back to the Sane Society. You have myself, Jochik, Justman, and Jagad. And this is our movie review. Could you not?
Sorry.
Could you
Yo,
not?
middle of intro, bro.
I was curious.
What's so curious, bro?
Are you happy for me? That's pretty nice.
Middle of the...
It relates.
Shut up. All right. So this is our movie review for Oppenheimer. Yo, Yo, relax.
I thought maybe you felt left out or something.
No.
Oh, my fault.
Could you not? 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 All right. Anyways, Oppenheimer. This is our movie review for Oppenheimer.
Directed by Christopher Nolan.
Starring.
Everybody in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge cast.
Bro. You know, I don't know if you've seen the memes, but it's like every 2 seconds, oh, I know that guy from there.
No, for real,
Yeah,
bro. And
yeah.
every scene, there's just like...
So many people.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, speaking of, President Truman,
Yeah.
you know who was cast for him?
Who?
Jim Gordon from The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't tell, like when,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You could tell?
You
You found out after?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
All right. So, this movie. Thoughts?
I mean, it was a
Where do we
great
start,
movie,
man?
like-
Where do we start? Like, that's...
It was well
Insane.
shot.
I mean, obviously, if you're tuning into this review, this is a full spoiler review.
Oh, yeah, yeah. let's
And
get
it's
that out the way.
it's
history.
history, yeah. So, I mean,
It's not a
like,
spoiler
It's not a
review.
spoiler. Like,
It's
you
not
should
so-
know.
The bomb blew up at the end.
Yeah. I mean, no, but the thing is, but like I talked to people genuinely didn't know who Oppenheimer was and what
Oh,
this
yeah,
movie
yeah,
was
yeah.
about.
Yeah,
And I was like, do you not know history? So
I think us going to Hiroshima
mhm.
really helped with the impact of the movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, the movie was really focused on Oppenheimer and
Mhm.
what the U.S. was going through, whereas we got to really read about what Japan kind of went through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a great way to connect it. And then I guess because of that, I don't have as many criticisms about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could say that the movie might be confusing to general audience.
Why would you say that?
Because like Christopher Nolan really tries to bring you into being there in that moment when they discovered how to do it and how to implement it all, right? So because it's like that, they don't just have the scientists just explaining what these things are. Like when they bring up the Manhattan Project, they don't necessarily say like what that is. And then like obviously like I guess people from North America
Mm-hmm.
will know what the Manhattan Project is, but then there's gonna be people that have no idea what that is at all.
Okay.
And then there's even like when they're talking about the Trinity test that they did,
Mm-hmm.
like that, and then also like if depending on how much you know about history, just like when everything took place, because they didn't really have time dates for certain things, and there was even people sitting next to me.
It wasn't linear. Like it was.
Yeah,
the
you kinda
story
just
was jumping between times, back and forth, and
Not just that, but you could tell from the context of their conversation, like of when they went from, like this is going to be used against the Nazis
Mhm.
to, okay, now we got to focus on the Japanese type of thing.
Yeah.
That's when you notice, like, okay, so, World War II finished, and now
So,
they have a
'cause,
new
like, the
threat
movie-
that
the-
they're kind of
see,
focusing
That
on.
was what I was saying. Like one of the issues with the movie that I had was that like it didn't. If you're looking, because it's a movie, right? When you watch movies, stories progress in a certain manner, right? But the progression of the story seemed as though that they were like jumping from point to point.
because
Eh,
that's what it is. Right?
Because
Like, the story
because
is
that's
not
how
linear.
because that's how it is, right? But like I feel like they should have like I don't know, dramatized it more or shown like because even with them all being at where was it
Alamos.
or whatever, wherever that place is, right? I feel like they didn't show like breakthroughs at all in their
They did.
like research thing. They were just kind of like sitting there doing the research, and then they'd be like, okay, now moving on to the next point, now next point,
I
next
mean-
point, next point, right? Like the only time he has like a sort of like a significant breakthrough or like a
You're talking about Oppenheimer specifically?
Oppenheimer or anyone, the only time they have like a eureka moment is like when they're like, "Yo, somebody split the atom," and then they go and
Well,
like test it.
because the biggest thing was they had the theoretical work kind of laid out.
Yeah, yeah.
So the biggest issue for them was really how do we make this real? How is it practical?
Yeah.
So then all their eureka moments were the biggest thing was splitting that atom for the first time
Yeah.
because that showed that
But
it
I
is
mean,
It
capable.
was possible.
yeah,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, but like showing moments of like, yo, this is how we're gonna do this. We're not using this, or we're using this instead.
But they kind of had that when they were in their like conference, I guess.
Like a little-
And
like
they
a
were
little
like,
bit.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, how do we want to go about this? And this guy was
Yeah.
like, let's talk about like
Hydrogen
the
bomb and
impact or
shit.
something.
Right.
No, like the impact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
And
it.
then he's like, I would like to
explore
back
that.
that theory.
Yeah.
And then
That's where the
for
implosion.
us,
That's where the
right?
implosion
Yeah.
thing
that's for
started.
us saying that's the point that they went with.
Yeah. But like,
Right?
I would have liked if they did showed more of that, like more of these discussions showing like where their train of thoughts was heading, right? Because the entire thing spans like before they do their test,
Mm-hmm.
the Trinity test, it spans 2 years, right? So like it was like so like quick.
Isn't
I
that
feel like. I
isn't
don't
that
know.
straying away from like a retelling of?
Is it a
history?
retelling or is it a
It's
dramatized?
a biopic. It's a
is it
biopic,
though?
so it's a little bit more
In a way,
dramatized.
Like, because you
It
could just
is a
do you could
biopic.
just do a documentary if you want to really be accurate. Like
no,
that,
but
right?
that's it's a biopic. Like it's not
Yeah.
a documentary.
yeah.
So that's why it is a little bit dramatized, and there's sections where Christopher Nolan kind of does his adds his creativeness to it,
Yeah.
right? But I think it was okay. Like they didn't have to do that because if you wanted just the facts,
Mhm.
like then watch a documentary.
Yeah, then there's a
that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
that's why the
for it,
document
right?
like you can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But it's like because for people who like know history, you're like watching the movie and you're like, okay, you're just kind of filling in the blanks yourself, right? But if you're someone who's not aware of it and you're just watching it, you're left with so many like blanks,
Kind
and
of,
then you kind of have to like go do your own research, right? And like to go own and figure it out.
which is fine too, though. I feel.
You're fine with that, but some people are like,
Yeah.
yo, what the hell? Like, I would rather give me all this information, you know?
I don't know, man. Because when you have something like Oppenheimer's life, I think unless you want to, literally tell it as a documentary,
Yeah.
what Christopher Nolan did was probably like the best outcome for it.
Well, I mean, when you look at the way it's told
As like an interview.
yeah, because
Like
like
flashback interview.
flashbacks,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a lot of those flashbacks, the narrative about it is like of how he was, for one, trying to get his security back, and
Yeah.
then the other
Yeah,
one
yeah.
was where at the end they exposed that what's his name, Robert Downey Jr.'s character was the guy that
Yeah.
like kind of
Was orchestrating
orchestrated everything to
everything? Yeah.
like pretty much fuck him over,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So in that sense, like you're not just looking at it in terms of like science, you're also looking at it in the fact of like what happened to this guy.
Yeah, like the
Right?
political aftermath.
Yeah, and just
yeah,
like
yeah,
him,
yeah.
him himself, like
Yeah.
him going through this whole thing, like
Yeah,
you see
yeah.
like his wife, like, yo, why are you not fighting this and
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
You really see like the internal conflicts Oppenheimer's having,
Yeah,
especially in like that last hour of it, where he needs to like, as much as he was the one who started this chain reaction, he also knows that there's a limit to like how far they need to go.
No,
Like-
he even says that the chain reaction, like, it went off. Like, he didn't stop it.
yeah.
He tried, right?
Because at the end with like
No, with
Einstein,
he
Yeah.
he's like,
says
so
I know.
he's
it's
like,
over.
remember when I showed you that?
but he tried,
equation? He's
Because like him becoming like more and more vocal about not doing the
the hydrogen
the
bomb.
hydrogen
stuff?
bomb was
yeah.
that was him
Yeah.
trying to stop it.
It was at that point. It was already too late.
Yeah, because they.
I know, but
If he had been like vocal or had been trying to stop, he would have signed the petition.
no, he was doing it.
No, because they questioned.
stopping him, though.
No, they questioned the conflict of like his like morality with
Yeah,
everything.
like
did.
they're
right?
literally
Yeah.
like, why did
Because like
you
at
have
what point did you gain this morality?
Exactly.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, it was after
Exactly.
the bomb went off.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So like he should have been signing the petition.
Earlier, yeah.
Yeah.
If he genuinely felt like
Yeah.
what he was doing was wrong, but it wasn't
well,
until
it
after
was a
Japan.
realization that hit, right?
Well, I mean, it was like after Japan where he realized like, oh shit,
But
like
it's not even that
n-
he while he was working on the bomb,
yeah,
he had thought that like he thought that this was the bomb to like as a nuclear deterrent. Like he didn't think that this was gonna be a new baseline and people were gonna go beyond this. He just thought like this was enough and
well, no,
and this would that's it. Like
'cause
everyone's
think about how early he brought up the hydrogen bomb.
he didn't bring it up though.
Not
It was-
Oppenheimer, but the
yeah.
other scientist.
Yeah.
Think about how early on he's like, a hydrogen bomb's possible,
Yeah,
and they're like, okay, what do you need to like actually make a hydrogen bomb?
yeah.
He was like, you need like a nuclear fission or fusion or something.
Fusion.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
thermonuclear fusion.
And then
Yeah.
to get to make the hydrogen bomb possible. So then they're like, okay, let's start with
But
what
they're-
we're already working on.
But they still like, in terms of what the movie showed, they didn't even know the scaling of how, what the hydrogen bomb would even be like. And then once he realized how much more dangerous it is from an atomic bomb, he kind of was like, okay, nah.
So the other thing that I kind of didn't like, and maybe you guys can clear this up for me,
Mm.
is so they dropped the atomic bomb in Hiroshima, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the radiation, like basically radiation poisoning, caused people to die after.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Trinity test, nobody got radiation from that.
I'm sure they did.
No, it's because they're outside of the radiation field. They mentioned it how outside of that initial explosion, there was like a 200-meter distance of where the radiation would stop
Yeah,
because they had that shit calculated beforehand.
yeah.
So then, like and that would have cleared up after like I think he said a month or something. Like,
But
or
that means
something
that
like
they would have to leave
Would
that
have
area
leave area
completely
for a
right
month.
after
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
month or
But
whatever.
but they had mentioned it in the
Did
in the
they?
movie, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But
So then why did that radiation go away after a month, but radiation in Hiroshima is still there?
it's just no. Well, it's the same thing where first of all, it's less. The explosion was less,
Yeah, yeah.
and they also blew it up in like middle of nowhere, no
How does
buildings,
that have to do with the amount
no
of
buildings or
radiation that's there?
anything.
Yeah.
and then because in the air it doesn't seep into the ground or anything, so because it exploded in the air.
So Hiroshima.
I know, but there's also
exploded
there
in
was
the air.
there was buildings and stuff that got hit with it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that was way crazier.
No. So you're saying that because buildings were there, the radiation lasts longer?
Yeah, and also the bodies and like the amount of people it hit. Like there's more to it than just blowing it up in the middle of nowhere that nobody's gonna go
But
to.
even the
Well-
ground,
well,
like
we
I feel
know-
like the
we-
ground
we
should
kn-
have been affected by the radiation.
Well, we know from when we went to Hiroshima, the way
Yeah.
that they dropped it on Hiroshima because they went through all the calculations.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
Yeah.
geometry
yeah.
to make sure that
it does the most
the
damage.
most catastrophic
yeah.
damage was Hiroshima, right?
Yeah.
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 So that could also be it, right? Like,
They also didn't talk about their bikini bottom testing.
Bikini Bottom.
was that
Yeah.
before or after?
What are you talking about?
So they tested they showed like in Hiroshima when we went there.
Yeah.
They were talking about how prior to dropping the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, they tested it in Bikini Bottom, which was like in the middle
oceans.
ocean.
Oh yeah.
And then remember they were showing like the area of radiation that it affected all these ships and everything.
yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't mentioned at all in the movie.
Well, because I guess that's fair. But
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is the movie's based on Oppenheimer's life.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like there is that distinction where they're not going to just show you. They didn't even show us Hiroshima really.
No, see, and
right?
that was another thing. I feel like they should have.
I don't think so. I
that's- no,
disagree.
I disagree as well.
Why?
I think that's too sensitive to just
Yeah, and
To
throw
show?
into a movie,
And also-
especially the type of movie it is.
and
It's gonna be quite insensitive to do that.
To
Yeah.
show in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the reason why I said they should have showed it is because the movie felt as though it was like so like
like there's this long build up to this
not
moment.
not that it felt like it was like so like like pro-American, like yo, like we're so sick,
Okay.
like look at us, we're amazing,
And then kind
type
of show
thing.
that they're
And
not
then
like
show that yeah, like this is what you did, like you're not amazing, you know what I mean? And I don't mean like show the explosion. They could have shown just like the wreckage or something. I don't know, you know?
Well, they talk
Because
about
the
how
only
many
way
people were affected.
the only way we see it, like as the audience, is through Oppenheimer,
Which I
going
think was a
through,
really
like,
cool
going through it
thing.
psychologically.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not.
Well,
like-
he was,
like the one with the crowd, right?
Yeah.
the one with the crowd,
which
yeah,
I thought
yeah,
was really
yeah,
cool
yeah.
about it, because like they showed him slideshow pictures of what had happened,
Oh yeah, and like
and they didn't show it to us, but they showed it to him.
Yeah,
So he tried looking away. He couldn't bear looking at it
yeah,
either.
yeah,
So then whatever he was seeing in the crowd was kind of based off of the pictures that he saw.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
I don't know. Personally, I think this movie was phenomenal.
No,
Like it was just
100%.
couldn't have been given it to like a better person. You know what's crazy? They actually tried making this movie a few times.
Oh yeah.
Like, there was 2 other directors that actually tried pitching it
Oh,
to
sure,
other
sure.
studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like from I think starting from like the 90s to like 2006, and then each time, like so one of them, he made the script and everything,
Mhm.
and then the studio rejected it because they're just like, nah, like
Yeah.
it's kind of whack,
Mm-hmm.
like it's boring or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other guy, he was like, yo, like I have to get this out. I'm gonna get it out. A year went by and he didn't do anything with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then like eventually, is it like his rights to make that Oppenheimer film? Because
Yeah.
like these guys had, the book came out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then these guys read the book, and then they wanted to make the movie, right? So I think it's the rights to make the movie. He kind of held on to it for like a few years,
Yeah.
and then when Christopher Nolan said like he wanted to do it, that's when they're really looking to do it. And then I remember I think we had a conversation where I thought Christopher Nolan left Warner Bros. To work on his own to make this movie
Mm-hmm.
because like I just thought there was like some type of beef that happened.
Yeah, there was beef.
There was beef, but he actually went to Universal,
Yeah,
and Universal's the one that got it produced,
Oh, okay.
which I didn't know. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
because I
Well,
think Tenet as well, right?
Yeah. He got the book. Like he was already kind of like interested in Oppenheimer before. I think while he's producing Tenet,
Yeah.
and then Robert Pattinson gave him the book,
Yeah.
like the Oppenheimer, or he gave him like a.
Robert.
I think it was like a
Robert
paragraph.
Pattinson?
Yeah,
The Batman.
the Batman.
Oh, okay,
He was
yeah,
in
yeah.
Tenet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he. Did you
Oh,
watch Tenet?
Sorry.
Did you watch Tenet?
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so then he,
No,
he gave him
Yeah.
yeah, and then so that kind of inspired him to keep like get into it more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy
Crazy.
killed it.
Also,
Crazy.
like his name's Cillian Murphy. I've been saying Cillian Murphy. It's crazy.
What?
Yeah. I didn't know it was Cillian Murphy for like the longest time.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, no, he killed it.
Yeah. And same with Robert Downey Jr. He did a really
Bro,
good job.
he
Holy.
might.
Robert
that's
Downey Jr. said it's this is the best movie that he's ever been a
he's
part
been
of.
in,
Yeah.
And I
He's-
agree.
And you know
He's been
he took a
doing-
pay cut to be a part of the movie.
That's
Him
wild.
and
though.
him and Emily Blunt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
And then,
Emily Blunt as well. She fucking killed
Killed
it.
that
She
shit.
did.
'Cause, like,
she did.
Just like playing that character and like how strong she was.
Yeah,
Like, especially at
yeah.
that end when she like, you know.
That's why
fuck
that's
this.
why she took the role though. Cuz like she
Dude.
heard that Oppenheimer's like wife wasn't like a typical 1930s 40s wife,
Yeah.
and that she like had her own kind of thing, like you know,
yeah.
like
Mhm.
strength to it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she was like, yeah, I'm down for that role.
Yeah.
I really liked that the way the color was changing between scenes.
Black and white.
The black and white. to the
Yeah,
color.
That's objective.
Also-
Is subjective.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
like,
The black and
black
white.
and white is like what's more accurate,
Yeah.
or we
Da-
know
yeah.
it's more accurate because it's like recorded history.
Yeah.
Versus what's in color is like from Oppenheimer's perspective, so
Yeah.
it could be blurred.
Could
So-
be blurred.
so
then
then
my interpretation
That's
of
where
it
Christopher
was,
Nolan does more of his creative
okay,
stuff.
Yeah. So my interpretation was it was like one is the past, one is the present.
No.
That's how I was seeing it. You can't say no.
No, because they do have.
Oh, like
I
you
some-
said
think
that's
that-
my
okay.
interpretation of it, man.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
no,
Right,
but
my
they
bad.
do
Yeah.
have. but
Yeah.
but they do have colored scenes in the future as well.
They do.
No. Like so basically, if you
That's true.
No. As I was watching the movie,
Yeah.
so as you see like the present is like black and white, and then the past becomes
No,
is like colored, right?
I guess,
but then
yeah.
as the present or like the past becomes the present, it changes to black and white. That's what I'm saying. Do
Okay.
you know what I mean?
okay.
Yeah. So that's what I was noticing as the movie was going
So-
on. So like, cause you know how basically they're interviewing him, right?
Yeah.
It's black and white.
Yeah.
He's retelling the story, and as the story approaches to
To
the
where,
present,
where the telling is.
yeah, where the retelling is, the color changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I had noticed. I was like, oh shit, like now this is the
Mm.
past. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they were still showing the future where Hill was actually supporting what Oppenheimer was saying and just like outing Strauss.
Yeah, that was in black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I read that it was actually that the black and white was fusion and the colored was fission. And if you think about it like chronologically with like the past and future and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
at the point where they were conducting the black and white like from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
that's when they were talking about moving on to the hydrogen, which is a thermonuclear fusion thing. So they did move on to fusion. So like, and then also kind of showing you how different Strauss was compared to Oppenheimer, because they all wanted to back this fusion thing, whereas he was like no, like fission. So there's a lot more to like dig into that
Mm-hmm.
about the differences with fission and fusion.
Mhm.
But I thought it was kind of cool too. And then also, you know, Kodak, like the company.
Okay, yeah. I thought
They-
you were gonna say something else.
Kodak Black.
Yeah, I was like,
Like the rapper.
Yo,
yeah.
they had to make the first black and white IMAX camera for this.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he chose to like actually film it in IMAX.
Yeah.
Because like you know how, like movies can get played in IMAX. Like
Mhm.
you say Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and stuff.
Yeah.
They're not actually shot on like IMAX film.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
They're
just
they're
play-
like they get like created, like on whatever film camera they're using,
Mhm.
and then they adjust it for IMAX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like, it's actually kind of cool to see like an actual IMAX film as well, and like you got the chance to see it both ways, right?
Yeah.
What was like the biggest difference you got to see?
I mean, it was like the surround sound and just the size of the screen, really, like
Did-
realistically.
But okay, like personally, like we only watched it in IMAX,
Yeah.
but I felt like because you had the full screen, there was moments where they just did like the regular widescreen,
Yeah.
and then that changed the atmosphere for what was happening in at that time.
Sure.
In
yeah,
the
that's,
scene?
that's true.
In the
Yeah,
scene, yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah,
it felt
yeah.
like it was something very dramatic was about to happen.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if they were in a hallway or something, it felt a lot more closed off,
Mm-hmm.
like almost like Oppenheimer is like alone or whatever
Mhm.
in that scene. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was just wondering if it like you felt the same way for the regular way you watched it. Oh, continue.
I mean, it was also like the moment that we all like waited for, right? Like the Trinity test.
Oh
and,
yeah.
like, the
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a little bit more impactful. Like, you know how like Nolan says like you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like you felt it more in.
I
the
liked
IMAX
I
rather
liked that
than-
it was silent when it was dropped.
Yo, you know what's
for
crazy?
real.
That was so
Yo,
sick.
Because like I don't know, like I was.
That's actually how it was in history,
No,
though.
of course, but like
Like it was silent, and then that shit hit later.
yeah,
I thought that was like a creative thing that Nolan did, so we could just kind of soak in like this fucking bomb.
Mm-hmm.
But, like,
And
in a
then the
way
sound
that's
hit.
kind of like what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like the bomb, like it goes off, and it's just like this like whiteness that's like
Yeah,
this flash, right? And we're just hearing like Oppenheimer's breath,
yeah.
and you're just sitting there taking in this like explosion,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and like the shot of like the mushroom cloud and everything, and like
Yeah.
how like it's just like in your face, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then out of nowhere, that
Boom.
boom just
Yo.
hits, bro.
You know those are ping pong balls
What?
What do you mean?
in that scene with like the atomic bomb and shit. For them to like create that practically with effects,
yeah,
What
it
do you
was
Yeah, like the
miniaturized.
What do you
little-
mean?
like the little whites of like fire, I guess that you were seeing, like little. They were like they're ping pong balls, bro.
Oh, what the
Yeah,
hell?
Because they miniaturized the explosion.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. They're using ping pong
Oh.
balls
So they
as like the sparks that were like flying out or whatever. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so they like scaled it down,
Yeah, yeah.
and then just using perspective made it
Made it look
seem like
big?
it was.
Because
I
Yeah,
thought it was
'cause
supposed to be the
was.
largest non-CGI explosion in cinematic
I mean,
history.
Probably still was.
If it's scaled down to that extent, is it?
I don't
It
know
depends on the
how-
shots. Depends on the shots,
Yeah, I
right?
don't know how
'Cause
scaled down it is.
There
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be
It's
certain
definitely
shots
scaled.
that weren't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, Albert Einstein. When we were in Hiroshima and we had read that he had signed, that letter to be like,
Mhm.
oh hey,
It's possible.
it's possible for fission to occur,
Mhm.
and we can use this for weapons.
Yeah.
Mhm.
At first, I was like, bro, what the hell? Like Einstein was a part of this. Like, what the fuck, right?
Yeah.
And they show very clearly that he wasn't really a part of it. And because right before that, when he had came out with his theories on quantum physics and stuff, he thought that fission wasn't actually possible.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why he signed it is because everyone knew that he came out with that statement. So it was kind of like Albert Einstein's like this renowned dude. Like everyone
Yeah.
knows who he is.
Yeah.
He's the one who signed it to be like, okay, like you guys should kind of go ahead. Like he's giving the okay in that way. Like something that he thought could never have happened.
That's why he signed it.
Yeah,
He
essentially.
signed it as like the okay, like go ahead and fuck these people up.
No,
I
like-
think
like-
he signed it in the sense that like he was wrong.
That he was wrong, and that
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's some shit that like he didn't even think was possible. So like maybe it's something for them to like look go
into
into,
it, start
like from a
researching.
scientific perspective.
like start
Oh, okay.
researching this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, because even when like they talk to Oppenheimer, they're like, yeah, he's the greatest mind, right? And he's like, yeah,
Of his time.
of his time.
Yeah.
Like it's not his time anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
You know, he's
past.
trying to show like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm that guy. You know.
Also, like you learn that like even though he was the one who made, like he didn't technically make the bomb. He was just like such a great like charismatic leader and just like the manager and director for everything. Like he's the one who like got everyone together
Well,
to
like,
actually work on something together,
Yeah.
right? And then I read that there was 600,000 scientists like in real life that were actually part of
Mhm.
making the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Con-
Like that's insane.
So like the first nuclear reactor was made in like, I could be wrong. It was like 1939 or some shit.
Yeah, Germans. The
You know what?
The Germans started in 1939.
It was it was Edward Fernier.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, that then led to the creation of the atomic bomb, and I don't remember them talking about that
They
at
don't
all,
reference him.
in the movie.
No.
Maybe like
No.
one
They
line,
kind of-
but they don't like talk,
They-
because I feel like that's such a huge significance.
They just talk about how when the atom was split, that was like
Yeah.
that moment
Yeah.
where like
yeah, but they didn't talk like these are historical figures that they should
Yeah.
have like
yeah.
referenced, you know?
They referenced a few, like was it something Bohr, Neil Bohr or something? We've read about him like just growing up in school and stuff,
Mhm.
What about him?
because he was one of the people that like laid the foundations for quantum physics. So like they did reference him,
Okay.
and then like it's like there's quite a lot of people that they did reference because they worked with Oppenheimer, and then they went on to do other things, like the guy that made the hydrogen bomb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know his name,
Teller.
but like Teller.
Teller, yeah.
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 Yo, like that moment, for example, like in the movie, like when they like ran calculations, they're like, yo, like this could be like atmospheric, like
yeah.
like
Like the world
Chain
could
like
end.
everything
chain
could light.
reaction.
Yeah.
And like he took those calculations to Albert, like yo, the way
Yeah.
like he was just like picturing, like I don't know, it was just so well done. You're
But,
seeing
like,
it, the
yo,
soundtrack's
yeah.
fucking popping off.
I was gonna say,
Speaking
We'll
of
get-
soundtrack,
bro.
Well, wait,
soundtrack.
wait,
we'll
wait,
get
just
into
wait a
that,
minute,
bro.
wait a
We'll get
minute.
into that.
hold
'Cause
on.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys noticed this, but remember when they were they had the map out and they had the Secretary of War with them,
Yeah,
And it was all the ripples.
and there was all the ripples.
Yeah.
yeah.
Earlier in the movie, there's like ripples of water from like rain and stuff
Yeah.
that are mimicking those, and it's kind of
That's at the end.
it's earlier too though. Like there's
Or
like
is it?
He sees
there's
him
like
in the
there's like
beginning.
there's foreshadowing.
So in the
earlier.
beginning of the
Oh, okay,
movie,
okay,
when
yeah.
he's like up and coming,
Yeah, yeah.
and he has like all those like he's like laying in his bed and he's like visualizing shit.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
You
okay,
see like
okay.
the ripples and
Sure,
shit.
sure,
That's,
yeah.
Like
that's
there's
what it
there's
was.
a lot of
Yeah,
that
yeah.
like cool stuff that they showed at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of that was to show how like Oppenheimer's mind kind of operates differently. How
Yeah.
he can see he sees the big picture. Like he
Yeah, yeah.
understands the world like works differently
Mhm.
than everyone else. Like he was actually considering, like the other side. Like
Mhm.
everyone else is like nah, like US, and he's
See,
like
but like that's what's crazy is like the like depiction of how that chain reaction could have fucked up the entire world.
Yeah.
Like, bro, in history, these guys were actually like, yo, fuck it. Like, we could potentially destroy
Yo.
the entire world, but fuck it, let's just do it.
he's like,
like,
chances
that's-
are
Yeah.
near zero.
That's fucking wild.
But to be honest,
bro.
though,
he's like, what do
it
you
was-
want? It's
no,
theory.
but to be
He's like-
honest, like when you can like from the when we went to Hiroshima, I was like fuck
Yeah.
this, fuck the US, right?
Yeah.
And it's still kind of like yo fuck them for doing this, but like with what happened in history, it was kind of like they were in a corner and they had to do it
What do you
'cause-
mean?
because the
Yeah.
Germans were already working on the nuclear
was a race.
fission
Yeah,
in
it was a race.
1939. They didn't start till they were already 2 years behind them, right?
Yeah.
And the Germans would have finished it, but then the way they were going about doing nuclear fission was with hard water. And
Yeah, well, they said in the movie that they went the wrong way.
yeah.
Like they took a detour essentially.
Yeah.
which
but
caused
then-
them to like fall behind.
like in real life, the reason why like they actually like the US actually beat the Germans like to it is because their facility where they were doing that, they
Yeah.
had like covert ops like blow up the fucking institution where they were doing that shit. So then they weren't able to kind of like progress forward with it.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah.
they sent people to go and blow up their facility.
Yeah, yeah.
No, because in the movie.
Because I was like realistic, like it doesn't make sense. Like they're 2 years ahead of you,
Yeah. No,
and it
'cause-
already took them 2 years to
yeah,
make it.
Yeah.
They did, yeah. They took the wrong turn. They used a different
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
to.
No.
But
way.
they also explained that like the Germans weren't funding them
That's what I was gonna say.
like,
yeah.
enough, right? Like
Yeah.
he was too focused on like other.
No,
for
because
sure.
because
Yeah,
he was a Jewish, the guy like Heisenberg.
Yeah, and
Because he was Jewish, he wasn't getting the right
it was
facility.
Jewish like science is what they considered
Yeah,
it, and
yeah,
like he
yeah.
doesn't.
It was, like,
believe in
anti-Semitic.
that, Yeah.
Yeah. But like that's the crazy thing is that like at that point in the world, they were like, yo, if we don't do it, they're gonna do it, and
Yeah.
they're gonna fucking destroy the world,
Yeah.
or we're gonna destroy the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, that's
Well,
fucking wild.
From their their perspective, it was like, if Hitler gets it, he's guaranteed killing everyone.
Well, no, it
kinda
wasn't.
thing.
It wasn't. It was just like they could potentially have this, and setting off this one reaction could destroy the entire world.
Yeah,
And then the other side probably came to the same conclusion.
yeah.
But that's fucking wild.
I
Like
know.
you're both scientists,
like-
and you were like, yo, fuck it. Like for the sake of us beating the other people
Yeah.
first, I'm okay with forsaking the entire world. Like that's
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Well, he did say the chances were near zero.
Yeah, but like, what the fuck?
Well, that's the thing, because I think it was the issue was taking it out of theory and putting it into practice.
Yeah.
It's like in theory it should all go without hiccups, but then at the same time it's like you won't know until you actually do it.
Yeah.
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 So the soundtrack.
But I like how like all came like
Go ahead.
all came like full circle. And
Yeah.
then, like
Yeah.
at the end, like when he's talking to Einstein,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Do you remember that time when like I talked to you about those calculations?"
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
like, "Yeah." So like how'd it go?
yeah.
And he's like, "I think we genuinely destroyed the world."
Yeah.
And then he's looking at the lake and he sees those ripples,
yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and then you start seeing like the montage of like all those like ballistic missiles and like everything.
Yeah.
That
the
shot was
tests.
amazing, actually. Though.
Yeah.
When he's sitting in the
cockpit
the
of the-
cockpit and the colors are like changing on his face.
Yeah.
That was a great scene.
But it like kind of goes to show that like what his research did in a way
Was
kind
right.
of
It was kind of right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it destroyed the world in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. From his perspective, it kind of sucks because he couldn't do anything about it. Like they were gonna make it, like somebody was gonna do it regardless. It's like just depends on who was gonna be that.
The one to do it.
Not like the one to do it, but like where was it gonna land? Like where in history, like where was it gonna land? Because it would have changed everything, right?
Yeah.
So like the atomic bomb would have been like it would have happened eventually.
Yeah, that's true. It would have. Somebody would have researched it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I just like how it like all came like full circle.
I think so too.
Like at the
yeah.
end.
Even with Strauss losing his chairman board, whatever
Yeah.
whatever
Like
he was.
Yeah.
Because like the whole at the beginning, he's kind of like, oh, I was just a shoemaker or whatever.
Yeah.
A shoe salesman or something.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, hey, now you're back at that level. Like, fuck off. Like, you know. Also, for Robert Downey Jr. to play a villain, essentially, like a villain,
Antagonist.
yeah.
Isn't it crazy though? Like in the beginning of the movie, when they introduce straws, he's like bringing Oppenheimer into like this facility.
He's getting him started, yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
like, "Yo, here's like not started, but like it was
Yeah.
like after the nuclear stuff."
But it was
Right?
also after, despite his past, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was
So
just
he was
his
the first
past.
one to take
So
him
he was
in.
like taking him in. He's like,
Yeah.
"Yo, here's a house here. Like you can do all
Yeah.
your research you want here."
Mhm.
And then it like at the end, you realize that like this, like he was like
He
keeping your
said-
enemy
yeah.
close,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's actually orchestrating that whole. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
wild, man. Also, like, man, you got dissed, and he actually took that shit personally.
Yo,
So
like, so
personally, bro.
Holy shit, dude. This guy was like,
Like
he-
that one thing was enough for you to just be like, yo, fuck this guy. Let me
Fuck
ruin
his whole
entire
life.
Discredit
up.
me one more
His
time,
whole-
I swear to
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
I really liked I think what Nolan did was when that girl committed suicide, that was close to Oppenheimer,
Yeah.
and they briefly show a hand pushing her in.
Yeah, it was
Florence
like
Pugh.
Florence Pugh's character.
Yeah, isn't it Florence Pugh?
Pugh. How do you pronounce that?
I thought it was Florence Pugh. Holy shit, I don't know.
How do you pronounce Pugh?
I don't know, man. It's her last
I think
name.
it's Pug.
I think it's Pug
Okay.
as well.
That's fine.
I
But-
don't know. Like that's how
I
it's
thought it was
spelled.
cool.
It's in a way
it's-
left up to interpretation. Like, did she
Yeah.
commit suicide or was she murdered?
Murdered. Yeah.
But
yeah,
also
yeah.
like technically there's two, because like it could be like, okay, the government did it, so that way Oppenheimer stays true
They
to the
continue
project,
or cripple
stays to
him.
the project. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
no, because like, remember they were keeping tabs on him,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and he left to go meet her, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, they can't have his attention divided to something else. So
Mhm.
like, was it somebody in the government that did it,
Mhm.
or was that Oppenheimer thinking that he was the one that forced her to commit suicide because he never saw her again and he didn't
Yeah.
help her through whatever she was going through,
Yeah. Gene.
even though he said that he would be there for her like no matter what, right?
Mhm.
So I thought that was really cool, because that's not something that they've really stated. It's kind of just up
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
air.
It's up in the air.
Fucking wild though. He was reading Sanskrit.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
yo, that scene was like very odd, bro. Cause she like they're like
She's
doing
like, yo,
it,
and,
Yo,
he, like, she's
and
like,
then she
read,
just gets up randomly,
like, read this.
picks out this book, and then she's like, "Read this to me," and then gets back on
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and he reads the line of
Yeah.
like, and then I've become the destroyer of the world or whatever.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like thinking, like,
Like that's mad foreshadowing, bro.
It's
You're
kinda-
penetrating her, and then after you're gonna penetrate the earth, bro.
Oh, you're fucked.
yo, that's
Yo,
crazy.
but I've been trying to understand why it says like I am become death,
I know. I become death.
but it's, like the way he says is I am become death.
Yeah, which he did. He fucking did become death. I don't. What are you confused
I'm just saying like the
about?
Yeah,
wording
maybe.
of it.
Maybe
Or
that's just
is
how
it-
the translation.
it's just a
goes.
translation
Yeah,
from
'cause it's-
Sanskrit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That's what I'm. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I thought there was something to it, but I think the
This is not Oda, bro. There's not next level layers to this shit. I'm just
no, because okay, like you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like I remember reading that the original Sanskrit thing that he took it from was actually like time. Like it's not I am become death. It's time.
it's
Time
I become
has
time or time has become death.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the original, and then he kind of changed it to I am become death.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
You could totally search it up considering you have your phone on you.
Okay, sure. You guys continue with your soundtrack.
That soundtrack though.
Fire.
Immediately downloaded that bit.
Bro, can you hear the music?
Yeah.
Yo, that shit goes hard,
Yo,
bro.
They said it was Ludwig.
It is Ludwig.
Yeah, it is Ludwig.
Holy, I thought it was
Same guy that did
I
Tenet.
thought Hans
Yeah.
Zimmer was supposed to do it
Nah,
though.
No.
bro.
He's been working with Ludwig.
Dude,
Since
Ludwig's
Tenet.
that guy.
Yeah,
Ludwig's him.
no,
No, he
because
is
I heard Hans Zimmer couldn't make it for it, so that's why he did Ludwig.
No, bro. Ludwig did Tenet. He also did a Black Panther too, bro.
Yeah.
Kona La Brisa. Come on, man.
So it says world destroying time.
Can you say the whole line?
It's world destroying time. Like
Yeah.
it's
Can
time
you-
to destroy the world.
Can you say the whole line for me?
Like
In the
it's
original
not,
Sanskrit.
it just says
please.
invert. It's a, hold
Can-
on.
can you
Let me
read it,
find.
bro?
Let me find it. Let me
you
find
just
it.
read. I
man.
thought you had it.
Yeah, I got a bunch of
The
ads.
soundtrack, bro.
Yeah.
A bunch of ads
It
popped
was.
up.
I,
You
I
know
know.
what
I
I'm
know
saying?
how some people, cause like I know Nolan's been doing this for like a minute.
Yeah.
But like I guess he's been doing it a little bit more heavy, even though he toned back on it for this one.
Yeah.
But like how in like Tenet and like this movie,
Yeah.
it was soundtrack over top of the
it
dialogue
Was. It was. Yeah.
versus dialogue over
Yeah,
top
yeah.
of soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah.
I personally don't mind that.
I don't mind it either, cause it like it's like
You're more in tune
into
to the visuals
of what's happening. It's like it flows with everything. You know
100%.
what I mean?
And
Like
since the music goes so well
you're
with each scene,
you're way more immersed. I feel like.
exactly.
Yeah.
And since the music's going so well with each scene,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's giving you that emotion of like anxiety and like like anticipation and
Yeah.
everything
No, like
that.
all of that was done so well in this movie.
100%.
Like the anticipation, everything to like the climax, to the breaking point. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
done so well.
so well.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like the soundtrack helped do that. And like I feel like because like he's going off of like how like back in the day like
Oh,
movies
shit.
were like silent films.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
like the
yeah.
way you would interpret everything was through visuals.
Yeah.
I feel like he's kind of leaning back into that.
Yeah.
Where like he's like kind of layering the music over
Over
top of the dialogue.
Yeah.
So in the end, you have to interpret the scene off of the visuals and what you're
No,
seeing.
100%. I mean, even the audio helps though. Like the
I
does.
think if they didn't have Ludwig be the composer, the movie wouldn't have been as good as it was.
like if you think Hans Zimmer was instead.
No, not that. I mean, like, if you were to watch this type of movie and you didn't have that same soundtrack where he's increasing the suspense at moments when
Yeah.
when you have such a slow movie, I think that's where it really like paid off, because you're sitting there for 3 hours, and personally, I was like, I want more. I wasn't sitting there like, oh, when is this gonna be over?
Oh yeah.
And that soundtrack kind of keeps you kind of going in and then laying back down and then going in, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but so
So-
do you think Hans Zimmer would have done a better job than Ludwig?
Not better, probably the
I don't
same. Like,
think
just
so.
I don't know if it's his
I
type of
I think-
movie.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
Ludwig's style
Yeah.
Mhm.
like worked
Mhm.
really well with this movie.
Yeah.
Bro, Ludwig's been in a lot of things, bro. I
Oh,
like
he
searched his like
Nolan works with him a lot.
IMDb, bro. I was like, damn, this guy was in Community. Crazy.
Okay. So in verse 32, Krishna says the famous line, "In it, death literally translates as world-destroying time." So it's
I want you to read the line.
it's not saying that
interpretation of the
though.
line.
It's not saying that. It's just saying the literal translation of death is actually world-destroying time, instead of saying death. So it'd be like, I am become world-destroying time.
Like it's time to destroy the world, or like the world itself is destroying the flow of time.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
I
Can
don't,
you
it's
find the
kinda
line?
confusing. But I do want to say, like, I'll find it. But like,
No, but-
because they're giving like
so-
a whole
no, that's fine.
thing
That's
on
fine.
it.
That's fine.
It says one of the 4 key lessons of this Bhagavad Gita
Yeah.
is it's about desire or lust, wealth,
Mm-hmm.
the desire for righteousness,
Mm-hmm.
or dharma, like the final state of total liberation.
So the thing is,
So in his way of saying it was
Yeah.
like him immortalizing himself.
yeah, no, because he had a desire, right? Like his we can't discredit or like disavow the fact that he wanted to be the one to do it. Like it was his desire and his like personal pursuit of
Yeah.
being like the person to like get this atomic bomb. You know what I mean? And so that works in line with what you're saying there, right?
Yeah.
But there was a line when Oppenheimer's talking to Heisenberg.
Yep.
And he says you don't have to just be able to read the sheets of music, you have to be able to hear the music as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's fire because one, the soundtrack is called Can You Hear the Music? Like Ludwig soundtrack, the one
Yeah.
that's playing, which is fire. And then the other thing is like he's like showing like, yo, don't just focus on the like that one scene or that one sentence is a microcosm for the entire movie because he's like,
Yeah.
don't just focus on the theoretical,
Yeah.
you know, focus on the practical as well because hearing the music is the practical,
Yeah.
but reading the sheets is the theoretical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool. Yeah. So is that time destroying the world?
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know.
Anyways, so is there any other scenes or shots you want to talk about? Or like acting performances? Like Rami Malek was in it too.
I do want to talk about Matt Damon.
He did well. Yeah, Matt
Um,
Damon. Yeah, his character.
You know, Matt Damon he said he's going to take a break from movies.
Yeah.
And he's like, unless Christopher Nolan calls me.
Oh, damn.
And then he calls him for the movie.
Damn. He's like,
Yeah.
unless my homeboy calls me, bro.
Literally, bro. Like, I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. Like,
mm-hmm.
because I know he's like him and Ben Affleck have that studio that they built, like a production
Bro, so
company.
because
Because
Casey Affleck was playing the bad guy, that one general who was like not general, I don't know his name. So Matt Damon's character was talking to Oppenheimer
Mhm.
on the
Yeah.
train, and he's like, "Yo, who did you talk to that dude?"
The guy that was investigating.
The
or
guy that was
like
investigating.
the security protocol guy or whatever.
Yeah. Oh no, he was the one that was like So
I know who you're talking about.
Oppenheimer goes to
and,
like
and
the
he like
Chicago
rat,
University.
Yeah, and he
and
rats
he's like,
somebody else out.
Oh,
and he's
okay,
like, "Yo,
okay.
watch out for this dude." And he's
Yeah.
like, "Come tomorrow morning." He comes, sits down, and it's him, the dude he talked to, and then this other.
Yeah,
general
and Matt
dude.
Damon's like, you shouldn't have talked to him. He's
That's Casey Affleck.
The one that's sitting next to
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
The
yeah.
guy that was like the security. He was technically the security protocol guy. For,
yeah, like for
like this
Los
whole-
Alamos.
Oh,
Yeah,
was
Los
he?
Alamos.
because
Okay.
he's trying to
But-
make
Oh
sure
yeah,
that
yeah. You're
he's
right.
trying to
supposed
make sure
be in
there's
the
no leaks.
shadows, like nobody's
Yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to know
Know
him
about
or
him.
see
Yeah, yeah.
him or
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. There's also what's his name?
No idea.
Polka Dot Man. I don't know his name. I don't know his character's name.
There was a lot of
That
like,
guy
solid
from-
The
actors.
guy that ratted.
Yeah, the snake.
Oppenheimer
Yeah,
out, I
he's
guess.
fucking.
Because like he like put together that investigation.
No, but I was wondering like why was he so willing to just? They gave him all the info and they're like, you're gonna make these inferences about it,
Yeah.
and that's it. And he didn't question it at all. He's like, yeah, down.
So
Like the fuck, man.
this
I guess he just didn't like him either.
this is kind of related, but you know how the uranium was like the size of like a Coke can
What uranium
for the atomic bomb?
for Hiroshima?
Yeah.
No, it was this big.
Okay, like whatever, like the
It
size that it
literally
was.
this
Though?
big.
Okay.
This big.
How big was it for Nagasaki?
I don't know. This was the Hiroshima.
It was
one.
bigger. It was bigger for
It was
Nagasaki.
bigger,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
bigger. But the Hiroshima one was this big.
So that's pure uranium.
Okay.
Like when you like the actual uranium itself, when you're getting it for like the ore,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the atoms are like 90% uranium 238, and then it's like 10% uranium 235, which is the actual one that makes it explosive.
Okay.
So they showed it in the movie, but while when they're putting marbles in the
They
thing,
had to
Yeah.
refine it.
they're refining it. So
Yeah.
they're splitting off the 235 from that. So
Oh,
that was
okay,
all
okay.
pure like 235.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it wasn't just like uranium ore, and then like so that took them forever to like
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
mine
and
even just
everything,
that much.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that like when you think about it, you're like, oh, it's just this much.
That's fucking
But-
insane.
But like it's like refined. It's refined. and
Still, bro.
Like
Something
but, at
of
the,
this
but it's at
size?
the level of an atoms. Like they're splitting just atoms
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get just like that, and that's how much they did, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
that's a shit ton, to be honest. Like at once,
No, but it's like unfathomable that like something this big could do that much destruction. Like it was
Yeah.
like the cause of that much destruction, right? Like you see something so small, you
Yeah.
know, they be that powerful, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's
like
even
potency.
it's
is
also-
yeah,
crazy.
it's just crazy. Yeah,
it's crazy with the hydrogen bomb too, because you need an atomic bomb to set off a hydrogen bomb.
bomb.
Yeah,
Which is
Like what the
wild,
hell?
bro.
yeah.
Like it's like 100 times more powerful. Like what the hell is happening here? Like
Yeah.
Did they ever drop a hydrogen
they've done
bomb?
hydrogen bomb testing.
No, no, but they've never dropped
They've never
one.
dropped.
They never
one.
dropped it anywhere. No, because like
Oh, okay.
once like that atomic bomb shit happened, it really was like a nuclear deterrent.
So
Yeah.
But like at the time when they were doing the hydrogen bomb testing and stuff, like you can't really tell where the war is gonna go. But
yeah.
at this point, like you can't go higher than an atomic bomb.
Well,
what's
like
higher than
hydrogen.
a hydrogen?
Like that's what I'm
What-
saying. Like
like,
you
what are
can't
we
really
doing
yeah.
now?
I don't know, man. You got
A
fucking
black hole fucking
yeah,
bomb or something.
yeah,
I don't
bro.
know.
You got domain expansion.
The main expansion on everything. bro.
No, it's crazy. But like, you know, we were like looking at it in like Hiroshima when we were going through like the museum,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like now they're going through like the process of what do they call it? Decommissioning all these like
Yeah, they
ballistic
are.
missiles.
Yeah.
Finally though, right?
Like
After
what is
so
it called?
long.
What do they call it?
Like decommissioning? What do you mean?
No, there's a term.
There's a term. There's a
term.
term.
Like for like kind of like discontinuing them?
yeah, but there's a term. You can search it up. You have your phone out, bro.
I'm trying to find something else to
Um,
tell you guys. Just 1 second.
But yeah, it's great.
I don't know what it's called.
But you know what I
yeah,
mean, though,
yeah,
right? Like-
I know what you guys mean.
So like we're now going through that process. So then like that's kind of taking away that nuclear deterrent, right? But like
You never know.
You never
if
know.
a country's gonna be hiding one.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Considering how other countries got theirs through black market means,
Yeah.
like that's wild.
Yeah, that's so like
No,
when
like-
you think about like where it came from.
yeah, yeah.
And, like these guys are like working their asses off, like they're
Yeah, yeah.
refining. They're trying to
Yeah.
go through
Yeah.
everything to like create this one bomb that they did the Trinity test with, and then the
Other two.
little boy Fat Man or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And then now there's some like black market shit going on.
Yeah.
like
That's
dirty
fucking
bombs and
wild.
So-
stuff.
I just want to read something that Christopher Nolan said about Oppenheimer.
Sure.
So that gymnasium scene with the crowd sound roaring in and out,
Yeah.
that's meant to parallel the delayed sound of the bomb blasting during the Trinity test.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, the whole film is about consequences. It's about the delayed onset of consequences that people often forget. So I kind of like that. You know, like the fact that there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, the movie could have ended like 30 minutes earlier."
Yeah.
I like that he kept it as long as he did, because we got to see those consequences a little bit more.
100%.
Yeah, and it, like, I don't know if I want to say like it made Oppenheimer like likable, but it, like you kind of understand where he was, like the position he was in, and like where he's coming from.
Yeah. It was interesting though that like the anti-Semitic stuff that Hitler was pushing
Yeah,
kind of motivated Oppenheimer to like
yeah,
pursue this.
Because like he was.
yeah.
which is kind of crazy. Like it really be this guy's, you know, like Hitler did it to himself type of thing.
Not him, but like,
but like
but like it's just more so like, yo, you're the
Yeah.
worst, bro.
yeah, like,
Like this man pushed us to like nuclear.
But it's kinda like-
yeah, one guy.
yeah. One.
well, I mean, had they not beat Hitler, they would have used the bomb to hit him instead,
Yeah.
and that kind of would have been the showcase for the world to be like, you know, maybe we like don't fuck around with like anymore. Like this is like the deterrence now.
Yeah, and you know
You
what?
know?
The thing is, they didn't talk about Pearl Harbor at all.
They don't, yeah, but Pearl Harbor happened in
They talked about it
1941.
a little bit, like the slightest amount.
So Pearl Harbor happened
Yeah, and then they
while World War II was happening.
Yeah, and then after they like dropped the bomb.
They
on-
retaliated, yeah.
But they should have. I feel like they should have mentioned that in the movie.
Yeah, that's because person sitting next to me was like, oh, like did Pearl Harbor already happen? And like
Yeah,
I thought, like, personally, I was like, oh, like now that they started mentioning the Japanese, it was like, okay, like this is post World War II, like
yeah,
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor's already happened, and now like they're trying
Yeah.
to figure some shit out. But they didn't really. It's not like they kind of make that distinction where it's an Oppenheimer film and it's not an atomic.
yeah. No, I mean they
bomb
really
thing.
show how like President Truman was just a dick.
a dick.
And he's like,
yo.
yeah, fuck you. I'm the one that did this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Like blood on it. You think blood's on your hands? Like nah,
Yeah.
bro. I'm the one that actually.
Yo,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
actually called him a crybaby in real life.
Yeah.
Like what the. Like that's
know.
crazy, dude.
Yeah,
What
it's
the
wild.
heck?
I like how in Saws is like what would you call
Straws?
it? Straws is like little thing.
Yeah.
At the end, they're like, "Who's the guy that like voted against you?"
Yeah.
And
they,
it's his boy.
No, it's
No?
JF
JF
Kennedy.
Oh, JF Kennedy. Oh, yeah.
it's
It was
JF
I thought him
JFK.
like his boy, like he just ratted him out and shit.
No,
No,
it was
no,
JF
it's
Kennedy.
JFK.
But yeah,
bro.
yeah.
They're like, damn, peep that foreshadowing.
It's that name drop. That name drop.
Yo, crazy Easter egg.
We're gonna pretend like the movie came out first. Okay,
Yeah.
so what were your initial thoughts leaving the theater?
It was good.
Yeah.
Rating?
Oh, rating?
Initial rating?
Yeah.
Initial rating?
Yes.
9.6.
9.
I had a 9.8.
Like
Yeah.
initial.
Initial.
And then like when
Like
you
just
digested,
leave, like with that high.
and
like
then
just
when you
leaving.
digested,
I'll let you go first.
still on 9.6.
Mine's 9.2.
Yeah, 9.8, bro. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Like the more research I did, it was just like, okay, like this guy literally just dropped like history in our lap without, making it like really changing anything up, but also presenting it in a way. Like the best way I could explain it was like, if when you have something that's historical, your job as a director is to make it engaging, but
Mhm.
also truthful to what really happened.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think like he did that
Oh, 100%.
perfectly. So
yeah.
like the only negative thing I really had to say was that if you don't know much about history,
Yeah.
there's some confusion that might happen.
Mm-hmm.
So like, but for my personal rating, like 9.8, but I could see like general audience giving it like a 9
Yeah.
because of that, because it might screw around with
What's up?
your general
You
audience.
just call he just called you general,
Your general audience,
bro.
baby.
Yeah, straight up, dude just called you general audience, bro. You gonna take that? Throw your
I don't
mic at
care.
him.
Yo, chill.
I don't care.
Throw your mic at him.
I'm good.
Personally, Strauss wouldn't take that.
Strauss?
Yo, you just created a lifelong
what?
vendetta, bro.
You know what?
Yo.
Okay. All right, bro. I'm gonna wait 10 years to take revenge on
Yo,
you.
chill,
Yeah,
chill,
no,
chill,
for real.
chill. I was just kidding, man.
You set yourself up, brother.
And yo, I said 9.2, right? So
Well, initial rating when you walked out of
Yeah,
the
it
theater
was
was
nine.
9. Yeah,
Yeah.
general audience.
yeah. Okay, sure.
I might go watch it again, actually.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna watch it next week.
Awesome. Do you gonna watch Barbie?
I already watched it. Don't lie to the fans.
Who am I lying to? He looked this way. I looked that way. I was like, who's he looking at?
Have you seen Barbie?
I think we
Yeah.
cover everything about the movie. We know he didn't watch Barbie. Like, why are you even asking him, bro? But I think that kind of covers it all.
Soundtrack, directing. It was shot well. We don't even have to say anything about that.
Any sort of
Actors,
symbolism or
acting.
deeper meaning you guys want to talk about that you guys saw?
That's what I was kind of thinking about, but I'm not sure. I touched a little bit on all of it.
Yeah.
Did you? I didn't know. What did you touch on?
It's okay now. You gotta watch the pod.
Watch the
Well-
film.
Watch the pod, bro.
Like, since we talked a little bit about it since we went to like Hiroshima and stuff. How do you guys feel watching this movie like after Hiroshima? Like after we experienced it, we went there, we got to see
Yeah,
like the museum and everything.
It helped me understand like the state of the world
Mm-hmm.
and not as one-sided as it seemed.
Okay.
What do
And
you mean
then-
one-sided?
Because when we walked
'Cause-
out of
'cause
that
when
museum, we were like,
You're
fuck
fucking
off.
depressed. You're
No,
sad
100%,
as
100%,
shit.
Yeah.
100%.
You know.
But even now, even still,
It's
I'll
still
like,
it's still something like
I still
it's
might-
still
I'm like, yo,
very
fuck those guys.
it's very
Of course.
inhumane. It's
Yeah.
still like
yeah.
but like they were pushed to do that because the Russia
Yeah.
Russia would have done it anyway. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like Russia would have done it.
No, but
It's
but
kinda-
the thing is, if
They
the
still
thing is, though,
smudge up the yeah. Sorry, continue.
the thing is, if Russia was the one that found or created the atomic bomb, whoever it was, you don't know. Like,
Wasn't it Russia was gonna invade?
They were just gonna
That's
invade.
what-
They
yeah,
weren't
no,
gonna
that's
actually
what
drop
the-
the bomb, but you like
see,
they were
that's what's-
building- they
that's
built
what's
the
wi-
bomb.
Like there was no need to drop the bomb. I feel
Exactly.
like there was no
Because they
need.
were gonna
yeah.
invade.
Japan was
Yeah.
losing
And
either
they were-
way.
Because they were gonna invade, and so like if people don't know, they were gonna invade and
Who's they?
U.S. like Russia.
Yeah,
They were worried about Japan surrendering to Russia,
yeah.
and that would just create
Huge superpower.
a
Shift in
superpower.
power.
Yeah,
And the U.S. was worried about that, so that in a sense, forced their hand to just drop the nuclear bomb on them. But as
Yeah.
you're saying, that's not really what should have pushed them to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because they weren't gonna drop a nuke on
No,
Japan
100%.
or anything like that.
100%.
The other thing I saw was, you know how, like what we read from Hiroshima,
Yeah.
they didn't in their declaration of you guys have to surrender.
Yeah.
They didn't include that like
They were gonna drop a bomb or something.
they were
like that.
Yeah.
For one, they didn't say that they're gonna drop a bomb, and two, they didn't say that like there's whatever the royal family was, or like
Yeah,
the prime
the
minister and stuff,
royal
their
lineage.
like status wouldn't, like they wouldn't continue to rule.
No, in the
they
movie,
didn't-
they never mention that either.
They don't mention. Yeah, they don't
in
really
the
mention
movie, they're
any
like,
of
yo,
that.
just terms of surrender, and they don't explain.
They don't
what
explain the
terms
That they
terms
want,
of
like,
surrender.
yeah, the terms
Yeah.
of surrender was to abolish the
Yeah.
royal
the whole royal
yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Which aren't like the typical terms that countries usually use when they're just taking over, right?
Is
yeah.
it?
So
Is
what?
it not typical?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
I was there, bro.
No, like based off other countries that have been taken over,
Yeah.
do they abolish
Well,
the
like,
royal
if
or do
you're-
they not?
Well, I mean,
feel
like
they
if you're,
do.
Do they though? Like if you're making that statement, you should know.
I'm saying from what we learned in Hiroshima. That's
Okay,
what I'm saying.
but you're saying typically from other.
Yeah.
So that means if another country was to invade, right? Another
Like, for-
country.
I
if
guess
you're-
you would
yeah.
you
Like,
would
if you're
abolish
asked-
the
like, if
royal
you're-
family regardless of because you're
No, because the thing is, if you're gonna invade, if you're gonna like, if you have the force, you're gonna beat these guys. If you don't have that as part of the surrender, why would they even surrender? Because they're the ones calling all the shots. They're gonna, if they lose that status, like that's kind of like the death of them, to be honest.
That's if you're invading. Okay, bro. That's if your country A is invading country B and you're taking country B and making it part of your own land.
You would be though.
If you're doing that,
Yeah, of
did the
course.
states do that to Japan?
They-
no.
They didn't.
They
exactly.
didn't.
This isn't Code Geass, right? Like, so the fact that they didn't do
No,
that
of
means
course.
there was no need for them to
But-
force the abolish of the royal family.
That's
What was
true,
the purpose of that?
No, it's true. But I'm saying like,
And the thing is, in the movie, they even
I think that's like sending them into like turmoil, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah,
way,
but in
like,
the movie,
stunting their
in the
growth.
movie they talk about the significant historical fact, the significant and historical placement of like Kyoto.
Kyoto.
yeah,
Right? But they make like a joke out of it, like, oh, yo, we went to fucking.
no, that actually
vacation.
happened.
That actually happened.
The Secretary of War literally went there
Yeah,
with his wife, vacation there.
yeah.
So that's why they didn't go there.
wow.
And then you know how they included that in the film?
yeah,
It wasn't originally part of the film,
yeah,
Like the
but
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't part of the script. But essentially, like the actors they had to read the book.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what the name of the Oppenheimer book was,
Yeah,
but they were supposed to read that just on set. Like that was just like a thing that they had to do.
yeah.
And then the dude who's playing the Secretary of War, he was doing research, and he's the one he found out that that's what happened, and
Oh,
that's why
okay,
they
okay.
didn't do
Yeah, yeah,
Kyoto.
yeah. Yeah.
Which is like that's such a weird reasoning, I guess, to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of be like, oh yeah, we're
Yeah,
not
we
gonna
went on
choose
vacation there, so we're not gonna do it.
That. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it was like
He
this
made it-
anniversary or something, so it was like significant to him, right?
Yeah, his anniversary, but still, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, especially like at that point, if you're bringing it up like that, just don't even. Why are you even bombing it? There's so many other things to
But
see
Yeah.
in Japan. Like why
No,
would
but
you?
the thing is, bro,
you know what I
they
mean?
bombed them and bombed them twice and then forced their surrender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you just, like,
Well,
fucked them so hard.
you also well, technically, because the first time they bombed them, the prime minister of Japan was like, "This bomb is so crazy. There's no way they have a second one. We're gonna keep fighting." Then they dropped the second one, and then the prime minister was like, "Okay, maybe we don't know how many they have. Like, let's just fucking surrender."
yeah,
Like,
that was
nah,
the
yeah,
purpose
yeah.
of
Yeah.
World War II, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But on your note of like why force their like royal family to be abolished or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like stunting their growth and everything, right? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of setting them back.
Yeah. But it wasn't until recently, wasn't it, that the royal family got abolished for...
for Japan,
Yeah.
it happened then.
I thought that it was then.
It was at surrender.
Yeah.
They happened then.
Oh, that their thing was done?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's where like there was such a big shift in
Japan-
Japanese
but
culture
I'm
and
saying, like,
everything
the
in
bombs
general.
were enough to stunt them, right? Like, you dropped 2 bombs on them already. You pretty much fucked them up. Just have them surrender while you gotta get rid of the royal family, you know?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
the royal family's not. They weren't the greatest people.
No, I'm not defending the royal. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, 'cause that held such an important significance to them, like,
Yeah.
as a culture or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, why?
I guess.
Also, so from what I read, that the reason why they didn't tell them that they were gonna bomb them is because they didn't want to tip them off that they had a bomb. because they had to carry it on the plane, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they're like, had they had sent that in the note,
They would've
they
shot
would have
the
shot
plane
down the
down.
plane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there was also a chance the bomb wasn't gonna work too, right?
Yeah.
They
Was
talk
it?
about it in Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true. Like,
I think
true
maybe
to, like,
initially
facts.
because the implosion that they had to start
no,
off.
they were like, yo, if it falls, it might be a dud. And then they're like, yo,
that
then
was
we
from,
gotta
that was from the
fucking-
testing though.
The
No,
Trinity test?
no.
That was a Trinity test.
No. It was when they were talking about dropping the bomb on Hiroshima. Like, they're all sitting in the boardroom with the little ripples that are happening. And he was like, yo, like, it might not work.
That might have to, that's probably with the geography and stuff. Maybe like there's a chance it might not.
Well, no, because I don't know.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either. Yeah.
I remember when they were
Search it up.
search it up.
Fact check.
Yeah.
people.
I remember
You
when
think they're gonna have that out for Oppenheimer already?
I remember when he was handing the bombs over, he was
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to tell like the people like, yo, if you got to do it this way,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it's like too low, then it's not gonna be blah blah blah.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it has
yeah,
to be
yeah.
a certain height or whatever. And they're
That
like,
was when they were like driving off with the bombs, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was outside. I'm talking about
That's
like
the only time I remember them talking about the particular little boy bomb
yeah.
that they dropped.
yeah.
on.
No, it was when they were in like the boardroom and the little ripples were happening.
When they were talking to the Secretary of War,
I think so. Like they had the map, right? And then he was seeing the little ripples on the map.
wasn't the ripples on the map when they were talking about the hydrogen bomb?
They talked about it like multiple times. Like they show that shot twice,
Yeah,
like twice, maybe 3 times.
yeah.
First time when they show it is I'm pretty sure they're like, yo, the bomb might not even work. And then the second time they showed it is when they're talking about the hydrogen bomb.
That's not something I can search up.
Okay.
It's not happening.
No, you can search up like just search up history. Did the U.S. fear that the atomic bomb wouldn't
Yeah,
go
but
off?
they're just it's a bunch of stuff of like
What?
how they knew that they didn't have to do the bomb.
What did you search up?
Was there a chance that the atomic bomb wouldn't work in
Okay.
Japan?
Okay. Shouldn't they be like wouldn't explode? Because wouldn't work is very open to
Okay,
interpretation.
fine.
But anyways, we don't even need to whatever. So you had what 9.8, 9.6, and me over here general audience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor guy.
I don't know. Like, there's how do you? I can't see it. How do you rate it lower than that? Really?
Lower than a 9.8.
Like even like a 9. Like how do you like?
Yeah, I don't know how you rate it. Less
Unless,
than a
unless
nine.
it's not your type of movie, but like from like an objective standpoint,
Yeah.
It's a great
it's
movie.
everything is done so
Yeah,
well.
Yeah.
I don't see
Dude, this
any
is
way. Of,
experience too, right? Like the
Yeah.
IMAX experience that we had was ass.
what? I liked it. What was wrong with your experience?
He has somebody's hair dangling on his leg or something.
Yo, the seats are garbage,
Oh,
bro.
I mean,
Are you
sure.
kidding me?
It's because you guys go to Landmark.
We're used to
every time.
Landmark,
yeah,
yeah.
Landmark's
Recliner
best, bro.
seats.
Yeah.
Sponsor us, Landmark. We're fucking always there. You know us by now, man. No, I'm kidding. I was just joking. That didn't really take away from
Yeah.
the movie.
Are you sure?
Yeah, bro. It's not La Pizza.
Shout out, sponsor us too.
One last thing I did want to say though is, so apparently there's a third Christopher Nolan brother,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
and his nickname was Matthew Oppenheimer,
Why?
cause he was alleged to be like a hitman and stuff. Like there was like nothing actually like stuck,
Yeah.
but yeah, there was like he's had run-ins and stuff. Like he was doing real estate. Like you can read up on it, but
They call him Oppie.
I don't know what they call him.
Puppy.
But you could kind of say that this personal, in the way that like media, was saying all this stuff about Christopher Nolan's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's came out with this movie Oppenheimer. Like there's more to this person than what everyone painted him as.
Yeah.
This guy, like the father of atomic bomb, like
Yeah.
the death thing, right? He's kind of saying like there's more to his brother. Like this, it's not just like whatever. And it's,
Do
it
you-
also.
Do you think?
Right?
I also saw a theory that
Go ahead,
like
go ahead.
it was just a random TikTok theory that like this movie is actually like you could interpret Christopher Nolan as Oppenheimer.
Okay.
And how he was like the yeah, he's
Go
like,
ahead, go ahead.
like
Go
he was
ahead,
like
go
a troubled genius at Warner Brothers, and he was trying to warn them.
That's
about
hilarious.
This
Yeah.
bullshit. Right?
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
bro, I don't know about that
Yo.
one.
And the Trinity is actually like the Justice League Trinity.
Yeah.
Come on, Snyder Bomb, get in
Yeah,
here, bro.
that's crazy. Yo, also, how does Warner Bros. Flop like that? This movie's doing crazy numbers
Yeah.
globally.
But yo,
For
they're
R-rated film, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
how,
they're-
why would you like it's
why would
Christopher,
you not?
Christopher Nolan comes up to you and you're gonna say no to anything he says?
Yeah.
What the fuck,
What do
bro?
you mean, what the fuck? Like, bro, if you're looking at it from a studio standpoint, what if there's stakeholders that were like don't view Oppenheimer in that sort of limelight, and they're like, okay, we don't want a movie, we don't want this production company making a movie about this person.
Mm-hmm.
You're obviously gonna be like, okay,
Maybe.
no.
Maybe
But like, that wasn't the exact reason why he left.
that wasn't. No, that wasn't.
He had multiple different like issues with the studio
Yeah.
where they had a bunch of disagreements that led him to leave.
Yeah.
And then he signed like a 7-film deal or something with Universal
Oh,
or
shit,
something.
did he?
What?
It's something like
I didn't
that.
know.
Oh, wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what else would you want? But I don't know. I think that's everything I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic. movie.
Amazing movie.
Go watch it if you
Gonna
haven't seen
steel
it.
book it. That's a
Barbie
steel book.
review.
Barbie review hopefully coming soon.
Hopefully coming soon.
If any one of you guys hasn't seen it, Josh needs to watch it.
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
He
go
will
with
watch
him.
it with you.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the Barbie movie, let me know. I'll go watch it with you. These two left me out, so.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's his fault.
Oh yeah.
What?
Anyways, like, comment, subscribe.
Damn, bro. Go in the comments. Let us know what you guys thought about the film. If you guys have seen it. If you guys have anything else that you guys that we didn't touch on that you guys would like to maybe shed some light on.
Yep.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications. Go in our description. We have our TikTok and our Twitter, Instagram coming never. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace.